Once again, welcome back to the channel of Mars Book. Today I've got an incredible book summary for you, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Before we jump in, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned until the very end. You won't want to miss this. Let's dive right in. Despite its title, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck isn't about not giving any fucks. Rather, it's about giving fucks about the right things. Modern society tells us to care deeply about everything. We're constantly told that we don't have enough money, enough friends, enough stuff, or enough experiences. Just consider how many 50 things you have to read, watch/see before you die articles are out there. Furthermore, the modern self-help movement teaches us that we should always feel happy and positive. So when we don't feel happy, we think we're somehow failing. We feel constantly judged, both by others and by ourselves. Therefore, the purpose of this book is to focus your fucks. In other words, to help you identify what's both truly important and within your control. By focusing your energy and attention on those things, you'll find purpose and real happiness, rather than the shallow, good vibes that the self-help movement would have you pursue. Chapter 1. In The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Mark Manson argues that society constantly pressures us to strive for more happiness, success, money, experiences, and possessions. Social media, entertainment, advertising, and self-help gurus push us to always be positive, making us feel inadequate when we fall short. Temporary fixes like affirmations may boost self-worth, but they don't change your core values. Manson draws on Stoicism, existentialism, and Buddhism to frame his advice. Stoicism teaches reason and duty, emphasizing purpose over feelings. Existentialism stresses personal choice and growth. You must define your own values. Buddhism emphasizes acceptance and tranquility, meeting life's challenges with calm. The key idea? Choose your fucks wisely. Most people give too many fucks about the wrong things. Success defined by society, wealth, fame, beauty, doesn't guarantee happiness. True satisfaction comes from prioritizing values that matter to you. Kurt Cobain's story illustrates this. Despite fame and fortune, he struggled deeply. Manson explains that pain, struggle, and failure are inevitable. You can't avoid them and still experience a meaningful life. By focusing only on what's truly important and letting go of superficial concerns, you can simplify your life and feel more fulfilled. The 80-20 rule applies here. 20% of your efforts yield 80% of results. Identify the most meaningful aspects and focus your energy there. We often get trapped in a feedback loop, feeling bad about feeling bad. Manson suggests breaking it by accepting yourself and your emotions. Things are screwed up and I feel bad, but that's okay. This recognition and compassion stop the cycle of guilt and self-criticism. Not giving a fuck doesn't mean apathy. It means following your own values, not society's. Simplifying priorities to focus on what truly matters. Family, relationships, fulfillment. Taking it easy without losing motivation, using positive pressure, eustress, instead of negative stress. Chapter 1 sets the stage. Clarify your values, accept pain, and stop chasing superficial happiness. By doing so, you can face challenges with calm, focus on what truly matters, and live a more meaningful, satisfying life. Mark Manson argues that happiness is misunderstood. Our culture treats it like a formula. Get the right job, partner, or possessions, and you'll be happy. But happiness isn't something you earn or acquire. Instead, it comes from solving problems and overcoming challenges, an ongoing process that improves your life. Jonathan Haidt in The Happiness Hypothesis explains that we can't directly create happiness. We must create the right conditions, be patient, and allow happiness to flourish. Pursuing happiness directly often makes us unhappy, a concept called the paradox of hedonism. Manson notes that dissatisfaction and suffering are hardwired into us. They motivate improvement and signal when something needs attention. Pain teaches lessons, sets limits, and drives growth. Problems are inevitable, but solving meaningful problems leads to satisfaction. Strive for good problems, those you can solve and that improve your life. Overcoming challenges also builds resilience, skills, and stronger relationships, sometimes even resulting in post-traumatic growth. People often block their own progress by denying problems or adopting a victim mentality. Denial and blame feel good temporarily, but create long-term anxiety, helplessness, and depression. Stories like The Wizard of Oz illustrate that real power comes from taking accountability for your own life. Emotions are tools, not goals. They provide feedback. Negative emotions signal problems. Positive emotions reward helpful actions. Mismanaging emotions by making decisions solely based on them, fixating on them, or repressing them leads to poor outcomes. Clause. This is linked to the hedonic treadmill, where pursuing pleasure alone keeps us dissatisfied. True happiness requires struggle. Ask not, what do I want from life, but what am I willing to struggle for? Daily effort and commitment to meaningful challenges create fulfillment. Mike Tyson's grueling daily routine shows that enduring pain and embracing struggle is what produces mastery and lasting satisfaction. In short, happiness isn't a destination. It's a byproduct of living a life filled with meaningful problems, challenges, and the willingness to endure and grow through struggle. Chapter 3, Entitlement is a major trap in today's culture. Many people believe they're entitled to feel good all the time. They think they're exceptional, either smarter, better, or more deserving than others. This entitlement often comes from trauma, social media, or cultural messages. It prevents growth in coping with life's challenges. People stuck in exceptionalism cannot move forward until they accept that their struggles are common. Recognizing that you're not special is key to personal progress. The entitlement epidemic began in the 1960s with the self-esteem movement. Schools, parents, and businesses focused on making people feel good about themselves. Too much self-esteem fosters fragile self-worth. People avoid challenges for fear of failure. They overestimate their contributions and blame others. This leads to narcissism, insecurity, and relationship issues. Trauma can produce entitlement through learned helplessness. When someone experiences events they can't control, they may feel powerless. This can lead to unhealthy behaviors, addictions, and distorted self-importance. Modern society reinforces the illusion that being exceptional is normal. Technology and media showcase extraordinary success, making average people feel inadequate. Manson references The Incredibles. Syndrome's plan illustrates how society equates averageness with failure. It's okay and healthy to be average. Most of life is ordinary, and accepting that relieves pressure and stress. True happiness comes from lowering unrealistic expectations. Happiness equals reality minus expectations. By accepting your reality and letting go of entitlement, you gain freedom to pursue what matters. You can enjoy ordinary moments. To give a fuck wisely, you must first define your values. Chapter 4, Values are the foundation of your decisions, emotions, and actions. To uncover them, develop strong self-awareness. Identify your emotions. Notice what bothers you and name the feeling. Determine why you feel that way. Dig deeper until you uncover the root cause. Identify your core values. Understand the personal standards underlying your emotions. Your values determine the types of problems you face and how happy you feel. Replace non-constructive values with positive ones that are factual, controllable, and constructive. Identify your purpose by listing all goals and arranging them into a pyramid. Lower-level goals support higher-level goals, revealing your top-level purpose. Asking why repeatedly helps uncover what you truly value. Manson emphasizes 5 alternative positive values. Take responsibility for everything in your life. Accept uncertainty and doubt your assumptions. Embrace failure and learn from mistakes. Practice rejection. Focus on important things and say no to the rest. Reflect on mortality to keep perspective. These values align with Stoic principles from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. Changing your values can be uncomfortable. You may feel uncertain, face internal conflicts, or encounter pushback from relationships. Start by identifying your true values through a 7-step process. Keep an open mind and list your current values. Group values by theme and find the central value in each group. Narrow down to 5 to 10 core values and contextualize each value with actionable statements. Test your list and refine it over time. Distinguish between values and standards. Values define what's important. Standards measure success in living up to those values. Set a mix of achievable and challenging standards to grow without becoming discouraged. Chapter 5. Happiness and empowerment come from taking responsibility for your choices. You may not choose what happens to you, but you always choose how you respond. Even in extreme situations, your attitude and behavior are under your control. Discipline and self-control are key. True freedom comes from acting on worthwhile desires, rather than being a slave to impulses. You're always making choices. Choose the values and standards you live by. Choose how to interpret events and respond. Even doing nothing is a choice, and you are responsible for it. The real question is, what will you give a fuck about? Values simplify decision-making. Clear goals prevent wasting time or energy. Others can anticipate and respect your decisions. Aligning actions with values helps you become who you want to be. Taking responsibility is empowering, but it's not the same as taking blame. You may not be at fault for your circumstances, but you are responsible for how you react. Blame focuses on the past. Responsibility focuses on the present and finding solutions. Life includes pain and suffering. You cannot control external events, but you control your response. Even disadvantages do not prevent success. Your choices, aligned with your values, determine your outcomes. Many people avoid responsibility by blaming others. Manson advises maintaining skepticism, practicing honesty, doubt, and open-mindedness. Taking responsibility empowers you to act constructively, align with your values, and navigate life's challenges with agency rather than victimhood. Chapter 6, Personal Growth and Happiness, come from embracing uncertainty and doubt. Instead of trying to prove ourselves right, we should focus on discovering what we're wrong about. Learning is a lifelong process, moving from wrong to less wrong. Believing your values and beliefs are perfect makes you dogmatic and entitled. Certainty can lead to insecurity, bitterness, or even harm to others. Negative certainties limit your confidence and growth. Treat your values like a scientific hypothesis. Embrace mistakes and discard beliefs that don't match reality. Learning happens when we admit we were wrong. Short-term achievements give temporary satisfaction. Continuous growth provides lasting happiness. Change is hard because it threatens your self-image. Narrow identities limit emotional development and opportunities. Adopt flexible, common identities rather than rigid ones. Pride and rigid self-image block growth. Letting go frees you to fail, learn, and improve. Open yourself to mistakes and learning. Examine your values and underlying weaknesses. Evaluate whether your current values and choices are constructive. In Chapter 7, I argue that failure is not something to be avoided, but rather a necessary and unavoidable component of growth. Improvement in any area of life requires repeated failure followed by reflection, learning, and persistence. Those who excel are not people who avoid failure, but those who are willing to experience it more frequently. Failure becomes a training ground where weaknesses are revealed, skills are refined, and resilience is built. Fear of failure is largely a learned response. From an early age, society frames failure as something shameful or embarrassing. This distorted narrative causes people to believe that failure is abnormal, when in reality it is universal. Another key reason I fear failure is ego. Failure often feels like a personal judgment rather than a neutral learning experience. Pride makes mistakes feel humiliating, which discourages experimentation and growth. Drawing from the philosophy of Ryan Holiday, I outline several strategies for transforming failure into progress. Use setbacks as learning opportunities, even during periods of limitation or inactivity. Allow low points to reveal personal truths, including weaknesses, values, and blind spots. Analyze mistakes honestly and apply those lessons to future decisions. Redefine success by focusing on effort and behavior rather than outcomes. Know when to cut losses, recognizing that persistence without reflection can be harmful. Release resentment and blame, which only prolong suffering and prevent growth. Pain and struggle are essential signals for improvement. When embraced rather than avoided, pain builds emotional strength, deepens empathy, and cultivates gratitude. Even extreme suffering can be reframed as meaningful when it is used to serve others or reinforce one's values. Motivation does not precede action. Action precedes motivation. Taking even the smallest step creates momentum. Small successes reduce fear, build confidence, and make continued action easier. The key lesson is to set a low bar and clear it. Achievable goals minimize the fear of failure and establish a cycle of consistent progress. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path to it. Growth occurs through repeated mistakes, honest reflection, and the courage to continue despite discomfort. Chapter 8 focuses on the idea that a meaningful life requires us the ability to reject what does not align with one's values. Caring about everything equally leads to emotional exhaustion and a lack of direction. True fulfillment comes from selective commitment, choosing what matters most and letting go of the rest. Modern life offers endless choices, but this abundance often leads to dissatisfaction rather than happiness. Too many options create anxiety, indecision, and regret, a phenomenon known as the paradox of choice. Constantly chasing new experiences or possessions produces diminishing emotional returns. By narrowing focus to a few meaningful goals, relationships, and pursuits, individuals experience greater satisfaction, clarity, and progress. Manson references a decision-making process developed by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. Write down all available options. Identify themes and rank interests. Narrow choices to one or two priorities. Listen to emotional and physical responses. Test the decision briefly. Commit fully if it feels aligned, while releasing alternatives. This process emphasizes intuition and self-awareness rather than perfection. Avoiding rejection often leads to entitlement and self-centeredness. People who cannot say no frequently struggle with low self-esteem because they rely on external validation. Practicing rejection, both giving and receiving it, strengthens honesty, maturity, and emotional independence. Manson encourages starting small by saying no to minor requests, expressing honest opinions, gradually standing firm in more significant situations. Healthy relationships require boundaries. Each partner must take responsibility for their own emotions, rather than relying on the other for validation or rescue. Relationships that avoid conflict often become unstable, while those that tolerate disagreement and rejection tend to build deeper trust. Constructive conflict includes identifying recurring arguments, scheduling difficult conversations intentionally, calling timeouts during emotional escalation, asking questions instead of making accusations, learning each other's apology styles. Some violations, such as repeated infidelity, may permanently damage trust. Repairing trust requires accountability, value reassessment, consistent behavior change, and time. A meaningful life is built on selective commitment. Saying no, setting boundaries, and practicing honest rejection are essential for personal growth and healthy relationships. In Chapter 9, Manson emphasizes that accepting the reality of death is essential to living well. Awareness of mortality provides perspective, reminding individuals that time is limited and choices matter. This realization forces people to abandon superficial goals and prioritize values that endure. Rather than being morbid, acknowledging death clarifies what is truly worth caring about. It encourages responsibility, humility. By confronting the inevitability of death, individuals are motivated to focus on meaningful contributions, authentic relationships, and purposeful action. Mortality gives life its urgency and meaning. By accepting death, we learn to value what truly matters and let go of trivial concerns. One of the most powerful ideas in the subtle art of not giving a fuck is that our awareness of death fundamentally shapes how we live. Many of our frustrations, anxieties, and unhealthy behaviors come people's opinions. By focusing on meaningful pursuits, growth, contribution, responsibility, and connection, we maximize fulfillment and reduce unnecessary suffering. Life is finite, so your time, energy, and attention are precious. Spend them wisely. Entitlement and trivial pursuits drain meaning. Constructive values create fulfillment. Death is not an enemy, but a guide that helps clarify what truly matters. By reflecting on mortality, we sharpen our priorities. We stop obsessing over superficial concerns, release unhealthy entitlement, and focus on values that lead to a meaningful life. When we accept death, life becomes richer, more intentional, and more honest. As Mark Manson reminds us, fulfillment comes from giving the right fucks to the right things. I hope you enjoyed this book summary and found these ideas insightful and useful. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing to Mars Book Library. Your support truly helps the channel grow and allows me to keep creating content like this for you. If you have any book suggestions you'd love to see summarized next, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I would be more than happy to check them out. Thanks again for spending your time here with me. Take care, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.